Well, hello everyone. How are you today? Welcome to my channel. Welcome. Today is a bright and sunny Wednesday where I'm from. We had a bit of snow yesterday, which kind of was a bummer, but today is a beautiful sunny day. So I hope you all are enjoying where you are from. Thank you for joining me for being here to do art with me. Maybe today you're feeling a little bit blue because of what's going on in the world. So I welcome you and say, come on over and do some art with me, and let's be happy right now because I know art makes me happy. So a few things that I want to share with you before we get started, and I'll remind you today what we need. Today's going to be our Drawing Wednesday. So like I mentioned yesterday, our Drawing Wednesday is going to be a day where we learn how to draw something. So I say we need a piece of paper. I'm using this big panel so you'll get to see what I'm drawing. If you have a marker, if you have a pencil, I'm going to use a big giant Sharpie because I love Sharpies. And this is like a big, ginormous, look at, king size, whoa, king size one that I found at the art store. Actually, where did I find it? Oh, I found this one at the dollar store, actually. There you go. So readily available Sharpie if you have one. Okay, so while you go run along and go get those, we'll get started in about 2 minutes. But before that, I'm going to show you a few things I brought to share with you today. So as you know, I am a professional illustrator as well as the many other things I do. What I love to do is make people smile with my art. I've said that before. So a local dentist office actually asked me if I could create some imagery for them to use on some local cards that they can mail out to their clients. So I'm just going to show you. So first off, as usual, it always starts off as a sketch. So these are some of my sketchbooks. I have stacks and stacks of them, but I've selected a few things to share with you today. So here's a funny, look how messy my drawing is. See guys? My drawings are messy. I've been an artist for over 20 years. I'm messy, so you can kind of see what's going on there. We got a little mama tooth, holding her little baby tooth. There's a toothed dog. I kind of have a weird sense of humor here. Tooth dog, tooth sun, like sun in the sky, and a little tooth husband over there. So they enjoyed that. So I'll tell you, so after the messy sketch, I colored it on the computer so they would get a sense of what the color would be like. And then I made some cards out of them. So again, like the drawing you saw, tooth mama, tooth baby, tooth doggy, or maybe it's a tooth kitty it turned into, a tooth son, and a little tooth husband. Hello dear, just came from the office. So I made them into beautiful cards. So they're blank inside so they can write their own message. And then there's my little bio in the back there. So I'll show you a couple others that I did for them. So this is a tooth dreamer. This little girl's dreaming about teeth. Like bat teeth. Da 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 da. And then there's some happy tooth people. And again, my trademark little guy missing a tooth. He must have lost it because he's getting his big teeth in. Anyway, I just want to share those with you. And one other thing I want to share with you before we get started is another sketch. Because again, here's my other sketchbook. I fill these puppies up and then I get another one, and it's almost like having, you know, my own little art collection in here. So this one is a sketchbook I wanted to share with you. So I actually did a mural. I think I mentioned that before. Of like the history of Edmonton, where I'm from. So here is the concept. So we have many things going on. We have a trolley that used to run, music, skating, shops. So I collaborated with the local community league and I did a mural, and it was a lot of fun. It was pretty big. Maybe next time I'll show pictures of all the murals I've done. So I would say the width of this one was about 52 feet long. So same thing as a painting, you just break it up into little pots, and you just get started. So I hope you can see that. So it always starts off with a little drawing. So speaking of drawing, welcome back. I hope you grabbed what you needed, and let's get started. So like I said, I'm going to use a giant Sharpie. You could use a piece of paper or a pencil. But one thing I find is with a Sharpie, it's like once you put it down, it's down. So if you feel a little nervous, I would say start with a pencil and you can go in with a Sharpie after. Okay, so let's get started. So I'm going to work on this giant panel here. Let me just turn it a wee bit so you can see. So this will be my piece of paper, okay guys? So typically with a drawing, I would always establish kind of my midpoint. Okay, so kind of where the middle of the page is, so right here. Okay, now what I'm going to draw for, I'm going to tell you first what we're going to draw so you kind of know where we're going with this. I want to practice on a face. We're going to do a face today. So like eyes, I always draw faces. I love faces. So I'm going to start off with my eyes, okay? So I'm going to put 2 dots here, kind of 2 lines, symmetrical. And this is why if you're scared, do the pencil first because this is permanent. Okay, so 2 eyes. Here's my line for my nose. So I'm kind of just eyeing it up here. Here's my nose. Here's my mouth. So you kind of see a face already running. And then the top of my head's going to be right here. So I'm just kind of making these little marks. So up here is my forehead. And if you look at your face, so look at my face right now, you'll see my eyes are in the middle of my face. You see that? So here's my chin, my forehead. My forehead's up here. My head's up here. Where's my head? It's up here. And my eyes are actually in the middle of my face. Okay? So here's my face. Here's my chin. My eyes are right in the middle. Actually, my chin's kind of big there. Right in the middle are my eyes. So I'm just going to go to town. You can follow along with me. I'm going to draw my eyes. I'm going to do some closed eyes. And your nose. So a nose really is a funny thing because when you look at it, it's really hard to draw a nose because we have like this protruding thing in our face. It's like, hello. And some people do like the old one nose, one line. So for me, I kind of like to do the 2 nostril because when you look, let's say I turn my head, you'll see my nostrils. 1, 2, and then my nose. So we're just kind of mapping stuff out right now. And then we have our mouth. Now everyone's position of their mouth is different. Some people have a longer face. Some people have a round square face. Some people have like a heart-shaped face. Everyone's got different shaped faces, but we're just gonna go with it. So I'm gonna give myself some lips. Ooh, so this doesn't have to be a self-portrait, of course. This could be something for imagination. Cupid's bow. So I'm gonna tell you how to fill all these in a minute. I just want us to get the essentials, okay? Now here is my forehead. Now eyebrows, if you notice, we'll start. You can look at your nose here and you go, okay, where does that eyebrow start? So kind of line it up with your, if you want to look in a mirror and notice things about your face. Remember when I said if you notice things as an artist, you become a better artist? So notice where that eyebrow was versus your nose. Kind of map it out. So here's my eyebrows starting here. And depending on what kind of person you're drawing, I'm going to give her some awesome eyebrows. And there we go. So here's the start of our face. Kind of mapping that out. Now this isn't going to be, I'm not going to do like a photorealism. I want us to do today a kind of like a comic-y person. So using my Sharpie, my marker as a cross-hatching tool, I'm going to show you how to do some shadow. So under her face here, remember with the pencil a few days ago I showed you how to cross-hatch? Well, you do the same thing with Sharpie. So you see how I'm doing this, I'm going around. So basically my light is coming from here. So I'm going to apply a lot of Sharpie down here, a lot of cross-hatching here. And her Cupid's bow here, I'm going to do some cross-hatching. So you see how that's coming about. And then for her hair, say here, I'm just going to give her like some wispy hair. So define that edge of her head here. And I'm going to do some curly hair. like so. And then once we kind of have things established, so if you notice her neck, sometimes when you draw, people like to put little tiny necks on people. Like, hello. Actually, my neck is right here, kind of in the middle of my jaw. So we're going to establish that. Maybe give her a bit of a chin job. And then I'll show you a really cool trick with this Sharpie, how to do hair. So I'm going to do some broad, dark streaks to show shadow. And then in here, a bit of cross-hatching. So one way, another way to show some depth. And then this is where we get to be really fun. So you can see how when I do the dark areas, it really starts to come alive, doesn't it? Okay. So then in here, now we're gonna start developing our drawing. So using the point of my Sharpie, I'm going to do some little tiny cross-hatching to show the shadow in her nose. So when you think about where the shadow would be if our light is here, a bit of cross-hatching here. Now, I know it's scary to do some cross-hatching right on the face because you're like, this is looking like a hairy person. But the more you do, the more it'll look intentional. So again, put some really dark for the eyelashes and then start to fill it out. Dun, dun, dun. So that darkness here, then that overall darkness. Now with cross-hatching, if you're curving, so you can see how this is a curved line versus the straight line. You can really show the shape of a face or the shape of an object depending on how you're curving your lines. So this one I'm doing right across, curving, going heavier. So you can see, the more you work on it, and I'm gonna darken the top of her lip, and that'll show a bit of shadow there. Kind of like a comic book. If you really look at comic books, they are pretty awesome when it comes to how to do cross-hatching. So keep going, don't lose hope. I know if I stopped 2 minutes ago, I would have been like, I hate this, but keep going, keep building it up, and eventually, you're gonna end up with a really awesome drawing. And if anything, it makes you kind of think about how you're supposed to show shadow on such a white surface. So I would just do some light cross-hatching here. And then up here, because we're in the shadow, some more dark. So really making you think about how to show light and dark with black and white. So if you kept working and you kept working, work. So you see over here, I'm adding a bit of cross-hatching. Over here, some cross-hatching. So it's slowly coming together. Down the chin, I would do some thin cross-hatching. So it's slowly coming together. Darkening that eye, darkening that eyebrow. I'd even do the nose a bit, darkening that nose. There we go. And nothing is ever wrong. Sometimes you just have to stand back and reassess. So even like me, I'm looking in the camera here. I'm going, okay, what does this need? What does this need? And I'm always adjusting stuff. So take a step back if you're not liking it. If you want to do a practice one and just start with a pencil, because I know it's pretty unforgiving, this puppy here, okay? So if you want to start with a pencil, you can still do cross-hatching with a pencil. I showed you that the other day. But just have some fun. I like the Sharpie as an all or nothing approach, because then you got to jump right in and not be afraid. And hey, if you're just working on paper and you mess up, start again. It just really makes you think. So for me, more of those rounded lines here, maybe up here, more rounded lines. Just start building it up. It's kind of like a house, right? You're building the foundation. So then I go, okay, maybe a bit more darker in here, like so. I could work on this all day. Anyway, I hope this gave you a little insight into how to draw with cross-hatching and a felt. Gave you some fundamentals. Remember, our eye is in the middle of our face. You see that? It's in the middle. A lot of people tend to put their eyes way up here. We kind of look like frogs and we can't understand what's wrong with our piece. Remember that a mirror is always good to notice how to measure things on your face, how far your lips are compared to your nose, and everyone's different. And then how wide the eye is, and that kind of thing. So have a lot of fun. There's no right or wrong, just sometimes you have to look and adjust and all that good stuff. So I hope you had fun with that. Tomorrow we are going to do something super fun. I wanted to show you guys how to do watercolor. Now we've used watercolors last week, but I'm going to actually show you step by step. You're going to paint with me tomorrow. So for Thursday, supply list, watercolor, canvas, like a canvas panel or paper if you don't have panel, pencil, paintbrush, and a little jar of paint. Oh, and a napkin. Okay, so a napkin, paintbrush, pencil, canvas panel, and watercolor. And a jar of water is good, so you can paint along with me. So I hope you had a lot of fun today. Just before you go, I want to show you one more thing. So as I said, I'm an illustrator. So I found this cool sketch of an illustration I did. I thought I'd share this with you. So if you want to have a look, he's like, hey y'all. So what I actually did was I painted this guy for my website, and these were going to be buttons. So if you go to my website, you see him, my old website. I'll still use them again. But I drew him, and then what I did was I painted him up. See this little guy? Hey y'all. So I painted him up, and you can tell he's pretty shiny. Check that out. So that's actually resin I painted on top of him. So he's wood and then resin. So initially he was just a watercolor, and then I put that on him. So anyway, just wanted to share that with you. So thank you so much today for joining me. I look forward to seeing you again tomorrow, 4 o'clock Mountain Standard Time. And please come and do some art with me, and I look forward to seeing you then. Okay, thanks. See you soon. Bye.